about it. There are people in this world who will go out and show face and seem as if they're really nice, they're really cool, they're a Christian and they follow the Lord, and then behind the scenes they'll do some ratty stuff. Allegedly. And I'm not specifically talking about anybody in particular, but if I was, I would say, boy, why you got to be a rat? If you're LSU, you're in a situation where, hey, man, it doesn't matter. I love A.J. Haulcy. I think he's been a great player. And quite honestly, tonight, as I've been preparing for this for 4 weeks, in reference to what tonight's show was going to be about, A.J. Haulcy was a big deal about it. A massive deal about it. Now, in case you haven't seen, because I know it's pretty much brand new, A.J. Haulcy, the safety for LSU, is suspended in the first half versus Clemson. Reason being, he got in an altercation, quote unquote, a fight, not necessarily what it was called on the field, but he got in an altercation at the end of a game in his last game when he was at Houston. In that situation, flags were thrown and a BYU player was ejected, and so was A.J. Haulcy. In the ruling, it says if you are kicked out for unsportsmanlike conduct, it does not go against what your next game's status will be. But let me tell you this. It held that way all throughout the fall and the spring. See, the situation was, the way that I was told, was that Clemson got a hold of this, and, well, Wednesday they were notified. Now, Brian Kelly met with the media today, and we're going to talk about this. Someone in the media should have asked Brian Kelly who they needed to get clarification from. He should have been asked, with all of the allegations that have been thrown out there, and not even allegations, actual reporting that from some that Clemson was out there vividly reporting A.J. Haulcy to the NCAA and trying to get this overturned. Brian Kelly should have been asked, was Clemson the ones that turned A.J. Haulcy in for another ruling? Brian Kelly should have also been asked today in his press conference about who needs to make these decisions and why did you find out on Wednesday? Because right now we have a report from Hunt Palmer of 104.5 ESPN saying that a spokesperson from LSU told him that Clemson reported A.J. Haulcy. That is his report. It's not my report. So before anybody comes at me, it's not what I'm saying. It's what he said. If what he is saying is accurate, I don't have any reason to deny that it is inaccurate. If it is accurate, this is the softest shit I've ever seen. And I hope karma goes into Clemson, South Carolina, and whips their ass. Because this has got to be, on one hand, I can count the number of times where common sense clearly has not prevailed for LSU. But the real truth and status of all of this is, guys, what are you going to do about it? What in the world are you going to do about it? You can't change it now. Pete Thamel reports that he is suspended for the first half versus Clemson. What is ironic in this situation, very ironic, is did the Big Ten overrule this? Now, let's get to this very quickly. Unsportsmanlike conduct and you getting kicked out for unsportsmanlike conduct does not follow you to the next game. Now, fighting will, and BYU's player was suspended the following game for a half after the altercation with A.J. Haulcy. How are we finding this out on Wednesday? How did we find this out on Wednesday? Why did it take until Wednesday? Guys, he's a starting safety. He's a starting safety. What took so long to get this ruling? When it rains, it pours. When it rains, it pours. What I don't understand, here's what I don't understand. AJ Haulcy wasn't the only person in this situation. Tamarcus Cooley, your other safety, had the same exact incident that happened. Same exact incident. And he got cleared by the NCAA. Same exact incident. How does one get cleared and the other doesn't? I hope that the 84 players on scholarship that are on that roster take this to heart. This kid does not deserve this. He doesn't deserve it. Guys, listen, this is where I start getting pissed off. We come in here, and a lot of you will come in here later and talk about Tristan Keys and the decision he made today, flipping from LSU, the number one wide receiver in the country, flipping from LSU to Tennessee. But really and truthfully, guys, if you're in the business that I am, let's rip the Band-Aid off. You have no idea what these coaches are doing behind the scenes. That is ungodly, and you would hate every single ounce of it. But they don't get the heat that these players do. This is bullshit. How does Tamarcus Cooley get to play? It was in a bowl game. I don't give two Rudy Poos when and where it was. I do not care. What is the difference between a bowl game and an end of a regular season game? Why is this kid suspended? I got to be real with you. Someone dropped the ball at LSU. You should have known this. This should have been clarified from the beginning. Because Brian Kelly ran out there and said, hey, we found out about this on Wednesday. How did you not know? How did you not know? It's your statement. How did you not know? But guys, the bottom line, the simple bottom line remains, guys, at this point, you got to roll with the punches. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. You got to go into Clemson, South Carolina on Saturday night and whip that ass. I've been very conservative about going into this game. You know, it is what it is. Let's go play. Let's go win. This is bullshit. Grade A, top shelf, Class A bullshit. And let me tell you why this AJ Haulcy thing is legit bullshit. Why does AJ Haulcy not get to choose what game he's suspended for? Let me tell you why I ask that. The reason I ask about this AJ Haulcy situation on why he doesn't get to pick the games that he's suspended for, the NCAA just made a ruling, and Sharon Moore at Michigan, who got proven that he cheated at Michigan. It was proven. He got rid of evidence, and we know that he cheated. He gets to pick games that he gets suspended for. How does a coach get to pick and choose games that he's suspended for, but you don't let the player do the same thing? He cheated and won a national title that promoted him to a head coach. An offensive lineman pushed and threw a punch at AJ Haulcy, and you're trying to, no, NCAA rule, he's got to be suspended for the first half. He's got to be suspended. Someone let that make sense to me. Someone, for the love of God, make that make sense to me. None of you can. It doesn't make sense. We have shit backwards in this sport. We have people that are trying to make more money than Saddam Hussein during the oil tycoon. We have legitimate people who don't give a shit about this business, and they don't care other if it makes money. That's all they care about. We have lost common sense. The NCAA, quite honestly, if you're asking me, I'd throw AJ Haulcy out there and say, we're suing your ass. If I'm LSU today, I am suspending his ass. I am legitimately suing the NCAA and saying, we're playing him. I would find a Louisiana court system. I would find a Louisiana judge today and legitimately get a restraining order on the NCAA. Don't tell me it doesn't work. Guys, we've seen teams around the country do it. We've seen them do it. And then let the kid play. This is bullshit. It's legitimate bullshit. This kid can play, man. This kid can play. But the bottom line is, guys, you can't change the outcome right now. I mean, maybe you can. Maybe you can sue them. Maybe you can get a restraining order. I don't know. But right now, there's nothing you can do to change it. Nothing. Deshaun Spears, it's time to grow up. It's time to grow up. Blake, these are kids. Guys, they're getting paid $200,000 plus a year, in TV revenue. They're not kids anymore. You got to change your mindset. The number one receiver in the country signed an Adidas deal worth $500,000 a year, which we'll get to in a minute. They're not kids anymore. They're not kids. Time to grow up. Deshaun Spears at this exact moment might be the X factor and key factor in this game in the first half. There's no way that I'm throwing Jordan Gilbert out there. None. Zero. Now you got to go take it to him. God, this is so soft. So soft. Beats all I've ever seen, man. Beats all I've ever seen. All right. Alex, who's normally his own Rufino Joe with a $2 super chat, says NCAA suspends him, but lets cheaters off free. Shaking my damn head. Alex, I just mentioned that. How does Sharon Moore get to pick the games and pick and choose the games that he gets suspended in, but meanwhile the player can't? I'm telling you, I am finding a pro LSU federal judge tonight, and I am legitimately filing a restraining order at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, and I'm getting that federal judge to sign it, and I'm letting A.J. Haulcy play against Clemson. Guys, we've seen Tennessee do it. We've seen Michigan do it. We've seen teams around the country do it. We saw, who was the other one that wasn't it North Carolina? North Carolina did it. 1,000%, I'm getting a federal judge that leans LSU, and I'm legitimately getting a restraining order. NCAA, you can't make a ruling on me. Why wouldn't I? If it works for everybody else, why wouldn't we do it? Oh, well, Blake, it's only a half. Who gives a shit? Guys, this could be a game where you're sitting at the end of the season and you're 9-2 going into Oklahoma, and you got to win the game, and you lose to Clemson, and you got to beat Oklahoma to go into a playoff. And because A.J. Haulcy sits, you're sitting here with your wazoo in your hand saying, well, man, what would have happened if we had A.J. Haulcy? It's bullshit. Frank Castle with a $5 super chat says, sources, Dabo signed off on what Clemson fans found. The Clemson staff brought it up to the NCAA, and their alums and fans brought it to them. Doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. I mean, it legitimately doesn't. I mean, listen, you can say sources. This is what I'd say. Frank, what I would say is I have no reason whatsoever, none, no reason whatsoever to discredit anything that Hunt Palmer had to say today. Hunt Palmer said an LSU spokesperson told me that Clemson reported this to the NCAA. Why wouldn't Clemson just let him play and see what happens? And if you lose, you can contest it. Why are you so scared? Makes no sense. Frank also with a massive super chat here, $50 super chat. Much love to you, Big Frank. Thank you so much for the super chat. It means a lot. He says, I keep telling y'all Clemson will lose badly because one of my best friends is at every Clemson practice, even if it's closed. He told me about many holes Dabo is worried about. That defense is only 60% fixed towards being average. He's worried. Now, Frank, I have no reason to discredit you, and maybe that's the case. Very well. I hope it is. I hope that's true. I hope it's true. And I hope that we can get some vengeance here. But listen, what's set up for the current moment, Frank, is LSU lost the number one wide receiver in the country to Tennessee, got flipped. You lose A.J. Haulcy for the first half, and you go into Clemson and you lose? Boy, we're not going to be able to contain the LSU fans. Y'all are not going to want to be contained. And I don't blame you. I just do not blame you. I hope what Frank is saying is true. I hope you go in there and you bust their ever-living ass by running the football. I hope you punch them right in their shit. I've been conservative. This is the shit that kind of pisses me off. You know, I feel like during the offseason, we've been calm, cool, collected. At least the way that I am calm, cool, and collected. Maybe not to your calm, cool, and collected. This is baby back bullshit. I am livid. So now you got to go take it to him, man. You got to go take it to him. There is no tomorrow. The mentality is when you walk into Clemson, South Carolina, you burn your ships. If you haven't heard the story before, I'll tell you again. The Vikings, when they used to go into war, they would roll up on their enemy's shores and they would burn their ships because there is no turning back. It's only forward. Burn your ships. There is no turning back. There is no tomorrow for you. Livid's not the word I should use, but it is the word I'm going to use. Frank, love you to death. Thank you so much for the super chat. Dane Bergeron, who's also a member on the YouTube channel, says, get Gordon on the job and sue their asses. Guys, I am filing a federal injunction in the morning. Legitimately. I am filing an injunction in the morning. I am suing them. Why not? Everybody else gets to, and they get temporary restraining orders, and it ends it for a while. Why not us? LSU's not going to do that, guys. They leave tomorrow. Unless they get it done at 8 a.m. Ricky Bertrand says he will be fresh for the second half. Yeah, he will be. Yeah, he will be. I hope he busts somebody's head wide open. Legitimately. Noah with a $2 super chat says, I'm predicting a pregame fight with players. LMAO. Well, let's not do that because we don't want to get people kicked out. Don't do it. Don't do it. We don't want people getting kicked out. But I'm going to tell you, I'm chirping the whole time. If I'm Brian Kelly, if I'm being real with you, there is no chance in hell I'm talking to Dabo. None. Pre-game, give him a fist bump. Hey, man, good luck to you. We'll see you. Why would I talk to him? We know you had your hand involved in it, allegedly. I have to say allegedly for legal reasons. But Brian Kelly ain't not on the 50-yard line when he sees Dabo. I ain't talking to him. Why would I talk to him? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I hope he headhunts somebody. Good gracious, great balls of fire. It is what it is, man. I don't know what else to say. You know, I should have known better. You know, yesterday I said, look, man, we got one thing that we're going to talk about today, keys to victory. There's 1,917 of you in here. I had one topic, keys to victory. Talk about what Brian Kelly said. We had to do a 25-minute segment in reference to this crap. But you go into there and you bust them up. Bust them up. God, this makes me so mad. All right. Jesse O'Neill says, Haulcy with a game-sealing pick or forced fumble. God, wouldn't that be poetic justice, Jesse? Right? Wouldn't that be poetic justice? I pray for the young man that happens. All of us right now, to all 1,900 of you that are in here right now, let's get to it. In the name of the Father and the Son and by you, Jesus, please, dear Lord, please let that happen. Please let it happen, because this is by far the most asinine thing I've ever seen. It's absolutely asinine. You know, Dabo trying to allegedly, Clemson trying to do some things behind the scenes. Meanwhile, you got a tight end that's drinking and driving. Guess your program's not as good as you think that it is. I mean, what was Christian Wilkins and Deshaun Watson doing in that locker room, by the way? Since we're going to just throw things out there that allegedly happened. Insane. Insane. All right. Let's get moving here. Everybody do us a favor. Hit the like and share. Share to all those groups. If you're on Facebook and to all those social media pages, you're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Well, let's get to keys to victory. We got to adjust some things in reference to AJ Haulcy. We will get to that as well. You know what it is? 8 topics, keys to victory, and what LSU's got to do. Do us a favor during the break. If you haven't done so, subscribe down below. Hit the like and share. Do everything that you know if you've been in the show that you need to do. Tell all your friends about it. Send this video and send this live show to your friends as well. Let me get to a quick break. When we come back, we talk about those keys to victory. Brian Kelly meets with the media. We get to all to that next. Stay with us.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man. He's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler. He'll shoot you straight.
Hey, guys, I want to tell you about our good friends over at Red Stick Financial. They're your local residential mortgage broker located right here in the heart of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. At Red Stick Financial, they find the bank that works for your particular set of needs to purchase the home of your dreams or refinance the current one. They truly are your partners in this process, and they pride themselves in helping individuals and families with one simple goal in mind, and that is to make home financing approachable, attainable, and stress-free. They are licensed in all Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So from Amarillo to Meridian and everything in between, they have you covered. Red Stick Financial brings you creative, customized solutions, and they don't believe in the one-size-fits-all when it comes to loans. They even have special options for mobile and manufactured homes located in a flood zone and stated income financing for those of us who are self-employed borrowers. If you or someone you know is looking to buy a home, refinance an existing mortgage, or simply want to know what options are out there for your future, give Red Stick Financial a call today at 225-407-9250. That's 225-407-9250. Or check them out online at redstickfinancial.com. That's redstickfinancial.com. Before you purchase the home of your dreams or you go and do that refinance, you need to go local. Go Red Stick.
We're back.
I do not. do not want to continue to see inside this chat from some of you and from some of you on Twitter, what you should have known. Yes, LSU should have known. Literally, you have another safety that went through the exact same situation and is cleared. Why is the other one not? Please. Guys, Trey Holly, stay with me. Trey Holly's court case has yet to go to trial. And he played last week for Southern. What are we doing? What are we doing? Because some guys threw some punches. Good Lord. I'm filing restraining order in the morning. And I'm calling every federal judge that's here in the state of Louisiana, and I'm going to see one of them that likes LSU, and I'm doing it. What? Don't back down to them. Don't back down. Oh, good Lord. Never ceases to amaze me. All right, we got a couple of super chats before we get to the keys to victory here. Alexander Taylor with a $5 super chat says, this is like when Jordan Jefferson was suspended days before the Oregon game. Team needs to rally behind this. You know, the last time LSU had players suspended, go look it up on Twitter. There was one person that reported the 3 players that got suspended. Dare Rosenthal, Michael Divinity, and Sadiq Charles all got suspended for game 1 for a violation of team rules and a violation of university policy. I'll leave it at that. You know what it was that every LSU player got suspended for in the beginning of the seasons. The last time that you went into an opener where you had a player suspended was this one, and you won it. Maybe we just need to get somebody suspended every year, for all I know. But it does feel that way. But Jordan Jefferson ultimately got cleared and had no wrongdoing. Noah with a $2 super chat says, this also feels like LSU versus Texas 2019. Feels more intense than that, really, in some ways, because it's the direction of your program. You know, that's just, hey, can you win a national title? This one feels like it's the direction of your program. Are you any good? Can you win big games? Feels a little bit more intense to me. Just being real with you. We'll see. Dane Bergeron with a $10 super chat this time. He says, Blake, it should not come as a surprise that Dabo would pull something like this. He is an Alabama guy. He learned from the best inbreds. It doesn't surprise me, Dane, to be honest with you. It doesn't surprise me. And everybody will say, well, it's the rules. Guys, I mean, come on. Like, common sense, when will common sense start prevailing? How can one kid get from the NCAA who went through the same, almost damn near same incident? How does that even work? Like, you can't pick and choose what rules, I say laws, but rules and how you want to enforce them. Either the rules are rules or they're not. Because this happened 9 months ago, by the way. And happens literally 48 hours before UT off. Kickoff. I have no idea anymore. I legitimately don't. Legitimately don't. Just to throw this in there before we get moving. Pete Thamel states, but clarified post-game, the game officials ejected a player for fighting. It's not true. This isn't true. That's not true. So I know that it said for fighting. Literally, the Big 12 does not have it for fighting. Literally. I don't know anymore. But I guess I should read what he said. Clarified the postgame that the game officials ejected the player for fighting. Fighting carries an automatic carryover of penalty. It's not what the Big 12 ejected him for. Just wasn't. So here we go. What are you going to do about it? All right. We spent 33 minutes on that. And I know that there's a lot of people in the comments. Just got to keep rolling, man. Just got to roll with it. LSU, I know LSU was identified or was made aware of this Wednesday. They should have known. They should have known. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but you got to know. You got to know. But I don't think the kid should be suspended. Sharon Moore gets to pick and choose what he does, but players can't. Again, the NCAA doesn't give a shit about players. They don't give a shit about kids. They never have. I mean, I guess Leah Thomas can go in the locker room and do whatever he wants. They don't care. They simply don't. All right. Let's get moving here. Keys to victory for LSU on Saturday. We do this every single Thursday for every single game, for every single opponent that LSU will face this season. 12 opponents in the regular season, and hopefully we get to a total of 16 of these for keys to victory. Guys, there is no bigger key to victory for me for LSU when it comes to Clemson than you running the football. I know that you're exhausted talking about this. I know it's been a big contention of conversation. I know that when you're with your friends at the water cooler at work, when you're going to lunch with them, when you're texting your buddies in y'all's LSU group chat, I know that all of you are talking about this offensive line. What you're talking about, and if you follow this closely, you know that LSU was horrendous last year in rushing the football. They were 108th in the country. Everybody keeps saying 107th. NCAA says it was 108th. I will just let you go see it yourself. It was 108th. But 108th rushing offense versus the 85th rushing defense. Guys, the number one thing that you must do, and it's a bottom line fact, we've talked about it ad nauseum, so I won't stay on this one for too long. You got to find a way to run the football or have extensions of the run game. There is no way humanly possible that you are going to go into South Carolina, and I say South Carolina, but go into Clemson, South Carolina, and win if you have performances running the football like you did against A&M, like you did against Florida in the second half, like you did against Ole Miss. I don't think you beat this team, quite honestly, if you have a rushing performance like you did against Ole Miss. You just won't. You're going to have to find ways to extend the run. You're going to have to find ways to get the run game moving. I thought Brian Kelly said something very interesting today in his press conference. He was asked about Garrett Nussmeier and asked, what does he need to do for this team to win on Saturday? The thing that Brian Kelly said first, it wasn't turnovers, it wasn't making good throws, none of that. It wasn't even protections for himself. The first thing that he said is Garrett has got to get us in the right run play. That means that they're going to allow him to check at the line of scrimmage, and guys, Garrett has got to be ready. He has got to check things and move things when numbers benefit him. He's got to. Guys, I think everybody understands in this game that the number one thing that if you win, if LSU has 25 carries for 125 yards, guys, you're going to win it. Bottom line. And if you don't win it, it's going to be very damn close. But you do not stand a chance if this offensive line, who I know that you're replacing 4 dudes, but if they cannot find a way to get push against what everybody finds to be and seems to believe is a really good front seven in Clemson, you will not win. Now, Peter Woods, their interior defensive tackle, last season, when I see him on film, and I suggest if you do not believe me, please go and look at it your own self. He was lazy getting off the football. He was lazy running after ball carriers. And quite honestly, guys, teams like Texas, teams like Louisville, and many others were able to get push on number 11. People in Clemson said, well, he was hurt. Okay, well, we're going to find out. Can those interior offensive linemen be big? Brian Kelly brought up today, it would appear that Paul Mabinga, again per Brian Kelly, so I have no clue, but per Brian Kelly, it would appear that Paul Mabinga is going to start at left guard. There is no bigger player that you have to watch out for than number 65 when he's there. They are going to put Peter Woods on him. They are. And how as early and as often as Mabinga goes with number 11 and Peter Woods, so will your run game. Now, Paul Mabinga has seen some really good interior defensive linemen. It is, of my humble opinion, the first game that he really got playing time in action. He saw the two best interior defensive linemen in the game last year, and Caleb Banks and Stewart that got drafted by the Bengals. Those, of my opinion, those were the best two interior defensive linemen in the country a season ago, and I think Caleb Banks is the best. And Paul did not have good games. He just didn't. The question becomes, in those situations, now that Paul Mabinga is a year older, now that Paul Mabinga has time underneath his belt, can he find a way to be big here? But Garrett is going to have to get you in the right number plays. If you are in 12 personnel, if you do not have the numbers, get to another run play that can get you yards. Guys, if you're running 3-4 yards a pop, I'm going to be happy as a lark, because when you start getting in 2nd and 6, you start getting in 3rd and 2, I have enough faith that you're going to start converting here. The game hinges on that. I know today we were with our friends over at Service Hawk, and we're doing Q&As from there as the season goes on when we do these special segments. And I asked you this morning, a lot of you on social media this morning, what is the number one thing you're looking out for? And you say the O-line. I agree with you. There is legitimately no bigger feat. None. Guys, it's the worst thing you did a season ago. And you're going to have to find a way. It is of my opinion that if you cannot get this run game going early and you have not fixed it, which we did not see a lot in fall camp, that they had fixed it. Caden Durham is going to have to be massive at getting the ball out of the backfield on some of these quick passes and getting him leaks, getting him some screens, doing things that you can supplement the run game with. Because, guys, quite honestly, just because you don't run the football or can't run the football doesn't mean that you can't have a game plan. There have been very, very many teams, a lot of teams, that quite frankly have had issues running the football early in the season where they were able to supplement that and get things moving. Guys, Leonard Fournette was getting carries in 2019 against Texas with you at LSU. Leonard Fournette, not Leonard, Leonard. And he quit halfway through the season. If you remember early in that 2019 season, you couldn't get things moving early in the run game. So when people were so scared of you throwing the ball deep that they're like, shit, we're just going to give them the run. We're going to give it to them. And things opened up. It brings a part of this, too, that I'm really interested in. If you're able to establish getting vertical early and that you can get vertical early, how light does that box get? Can you protect for Garrett that we'll talk about next? But the bottom line fact is, guys, if you can't find a way to establish the run, guys, I legitimately don't know if you can win it. I don't think you'll win it. Number one key to victory. My special number is 120. I'm not expecting you to be great. I'm not expecting you to be good. I want you to be average. And guys, averaging 120 rushing yards per game is average, even against this team. Now, Clemson has got to show their damn selves that they can stop the run. They were horrendous in it. Horrendous at stopping the run a season ago. Go take it to their ass. You listen, I'm assuming that you paid Josh Thompson a lot of money to be here. He needs to get his big ass moving, and we got to go mess some people up in the interior. Let's go do it. Number two, let's stay on the offensive line for just a moment. Guys, you got to protect Garrett. Your biggest strength offensively right now, more than likely, is you getting vertical. With speed guys like Chris Hilton, who, guys, knock on wood and knock on fake wood, it would appear that Chris Hilton is fully healthy and ready to go. Brian Kelly stated today that if we had to put out an injury report, which they don't because it's not an SEC game, that nobody would be on there. Thank you, sweet Jesus. Solomon Thomas would be on there, by the way. BK messed up. Maybe some coach speak. Solomon Thomas would be on there. Other than Solomon Thomas, other than him, if what BK is saying is correct, and I believe him to be correct, we'll see. But regardless of all of that, your biggest strength is getting vertical offensively. Gus, you got to give number 18 time. You got to give number 18 time. And I thought that you did exceptionally well. You were top 10 in the country a season ago at not allowing sacks. And you got to give him time so that he has enough time to get to number 3 and get to number 6. You got to give him time to get to Aaron Anderson and Trey'Dez Green. And if you do, I think that you will hit enough passes deep that you can start separating yourself and backing them off of you. But more than anything, you got to protect him because the vertical passing game and Garrett being better at the vertical passing game, none of it amounts to dog diddly if you cannot protect him. Now, in that protection, here's the God's honest truth. Garrett's got to use his legs. He's got to use his legs. I know a lot of you last year, myself included to an extent, oh, Blake, this offensive line, I mean, they're giving up pressure. I get what you're saying. You're not wrong. But guys, just because you're giving up pressure doesn't mean that you just sit back there and don't move. Garrett has got to utilize his legs. He's got to. Is Garrett Nussmeier not faster than Peter Woods? I think he is. He's got to be big at stepping up in that pocket and taking a couple of hits early and delivering the ball down the field. Guys, if they see that you're ready to go and that Garrett will run, it will open up so much for you. We were on with Jacques Doucette a couple of weeks ago, and me and Jacques were having a conversation about this exact thing with Garrett. And I told Jacques, like, listen, the quarterback, regardless if he's a profound runner, none of that matters. Garrett is athletic enough, very much athletic enough to take off with his legs and go get you some yardage. And he's going to have to do it. So I understand the protection for him, and the best thing that you may do offensively is getting vertical. But guys, if you can't protect him, Garrett's got to know when to take the sack and live for another down. And he's got to understand, listen, look, man, instead of this roll out right or roll out left and spin move and try to throw off your back foot, step up in that pocket and get yardage. Step up in the pocket and go down. And instead of giving up a sack, let's go 2nd and 11, 2nd and 12. You cannot have these bad plays all over again. They got to protect him first. But there are going to be situations in this game versus this team where you're going to give up pressure. You got to utilize those legs. You must. If you get 4 yards, who gives a damn how much you get? But you got to stay ahead of the chains. You cannot continue to keep backing up and being scared of the pressure. And I'm not saying he is, but you got to step up in there and rifle one down the field. So run game and protection is the number 2 keys to victory that you got to do here. I will add on this in that LSU, I don't want to give like trade secrets here, but it's kind of a known thing. Clemson knows and has talked about all week that you want to get vertical on them. They know it. We know it. You know it. Everybody knows it. Everybody understands it. Nobody's going to get fooled by knowing that you want to get vertical. Guys, you got to get Chris Hilton. You got to get Barryon Brown. You got to get Trey Green. You got to get Aaron Anderson on these situations where they are catching something underneath so that when everybody is going to back out, that you can go and get yardage. I do think that they're going to back out some. I do not foresee a situation where they're going to play up tight against you and say, no, we're going to go bump and run. We're going to go man. We're going to play physical. Maybe they do. And if they do, by all means, go hit Chris Hilton deep. But you got to hit this stuff underneath to make some of this stuff work. I will tell you this, and listen to your boy. It would not shock me early if LSU and Garrett are just tossing the pill early. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And I'm not talking about the burger place. Get your playmakers the ball in space and let them go do what they do. Early. If Garrett has 20 passing attempts in the first half, don't freak out. The attempts don't matter to me in this one. They don't matter for this reason, because I think that you're going to try to get the ball out quickly to your playmakers and let them go make plays. Your wide receiver room has got to be lights out. I'm going to be real with you. Clemson does not believe, based off of what I've listened to their media corps, I've listened to their coaching staff, I've listened to everything that they've done this week in the last 2 weeks. They think that they're going to be able to out-physical your wide receiver room. Go prove them that they can. Go prove to them that they can. Attempts don't matter to me, especially if you're throwing a lot underneath early. Let's stay ahead of these chains here. All right. Another thing before we move on, and some more pieces that maybe we haven't talked about, things that I see. Guys, I'm not going to spend long on this. I know a lot of you hate me for this, but it's the truth. You cannot turn the ball over. Momentum will, in a game like this, can make and break you. Guys, you can hate me all you want to, but this is a truth. If you turn the ball over at the rate that you did a season ago, you will not come out here with a win. You won't. There is no room for error. You can have a pick, you can have a fumble, and still find a way to win this game. Not two of them. Not one and the same. You can have one and be like, all right, well, you can't do that again. Guys, the amount that you turn the ball over, the amount that you turned it over last year was abysmal. I say all that to say, if you've watched this show during fall camp, there have been a couple of big things that have stood out to me. I think Garrett's maturity level has risen. I think the level of him pushing himself up in the pocket, taking off and running, taking some stuff underneath, instead of constantly trying to push the ball deep, has benefited him in this offense during fall camp. I think Garrett's gotten a lot better, to be real with you. I think it's been his best camp without a shadow of a doubt. And there are parts of me that believes like, hey, man, I think this kid's ready to roll. Some of the things that I think that he massively needed to work on, he's done. I do, because I've seen it all fall camp. However, when you're under a relentless amount of pressure, you can revert back to some of the things that you did previously. And that cannot happen. Guys, in the month of October, as an example, let's just rewind. Against all the ranked opponents that you played, all of them, guys, you average right at 3 turnovers a game. Right at it. That's not including turnover on downs. If you include the turnover on downs, you average 3.5 turnovers a game. Because to me, a turnover on downs is a turnover, even though it doesn't go down in the box score. You can't give them the ball back. I think Garrett has made the step that we've needed to see him make as a second-year starter. I really, really, really do. There have been points and times for me during camp that I'm like, yeah, that's not really a question for me right now based off of what I've seen him do. You got to go out there and do it. You got to go out there and show that you can do it. And I think that he will. But you cannot turn over the ball the way that you did last year. You just can't do it. You're going to be on the outside looking in. All right. Let's get to some other things here. Those three, I think we all pretty much talked about all offseason. The number 4 thing for me that I think we must do is I think you got to utilize the middle of the field offensively. I think that Trey'Dez Green, Bauer Sharp, Aaron Anderson, and Caden Durham are more of a bigger deal in this game than the guys on the boundary. Now, they're going to be massive too, and I'm not saying they won't. Guys, when I look at Clemson from a season ago, when I hear Dabo Swinney's press conferences, when I hear their media constantly asking about the safety room, I think it's their biggest weakness. Tom Allen, their DC, was asked 3 questions about this yesterday in reference to, hey, what's been going on at safety? You have some guys that are hurt. You got a lot of brand new guys, a lot of inexperience at safety. Guys, they may be fine. Those young guys that they recruited, they might be okay. But I am testing that safety room out very early. Are they going to put that safety room in a position that would hinder them in reference to them having to go one-on-one? My real interesting point in my real interesting thought in this, I don't know if LSU doesn't go to some 12 personnel. Maybe they do to get Bauer and Trey'Dez on the field. I don't know how much that benefits you because I want to see this safety room, like as an example. Why don't you put Chris Hilton in the slot and make one of those safeties guard him and run an inside fade with him? I don't think that safety room's good. Guys, last year they got torched over the middle. Their safeties got absolutely abused in the pass game. Do you schematically, if you're Joe Sloan, do you have something built in from a play call that puts Chris Hilton or Barrion Brown in that slot where they can run an inside fade and go get vertical? Guys, I'm telling you right now, if they're lined up on a safety, it's 6. If you make a good throw and you have the protection, it's going to go for 6. The eye in the sky does not lie on them. They have been really bad. Here's another way I know. Guys, I think Steve Sarkisian's one of the best play callers in all of the game, without a shadow of a doubt. Why did he keep utilizing the middle of the field constantly on Clemson in the playoff game? Well, I'll tell you why. Because he saw it as their biggest weakness. He knew it was their biggest weakness, and he took it to them as their biggest weakness. Guys, they got Gunnar Helm, their tight end, out in space. They use the middle of the field a lot, right? Like, they utilize the middle of the field more than anything. And they were able to take it to Clemson in the pass game with a quarterback that, quite honestly, I just don't believe is that great. I think Garrett is better than Quinn Ewers, clearly. In all of that, they utilize the middle of the field better than anybody. I think that's one way for your success. If you find a situation where you get those tight ends, you get a receiver lined up in a slot, and a safety is coming, guys, it's going to go for 6. It's going to go for 6. They cannot keep up with you from a speed aspect. They can't. They won't. Garrett has got to find that early. He's got to spot it, and he's got to hit it. Their safety room is a liability. It's a liability in the pass game. They've been good and decent in the run game. I mean, they ran away from some guys, and they got run right past. But the bottom line, just God's honest truth is, we've seen them. They got some returners at safety, some guys that were there last year. And I saw their safety room get outrun on the inside vertical route by a tight end that I don't think is a better athlete than Trey'Dez Green. Do you utilize that at all? Will be a question. All right, let's move to some defensive things here. Guys, the number one thing for me defensively in this game and a key to victory, tackling in space. Clemson is going to get the ball out quick. They're going to run mesh routes. They're going to run stick routes. They're going to run quick drags. They're going to run slants. They're going to run hitches. They're going to do everything underneath early in this game like they do every single game. Please, for yourself, go watch any Clemson game the last 3 years. They are predictable as me when a pepperoni pizza gets put right in front of my face. They are predictable. You have got to be elite, not good. You've got to be elite in tackling these really good wide receivers in space. I've seen some of you that have questioned this wide receiver room for Clemson, and I think you're wrong, quite honestly. I think they're very, very good. Which brings me to Deshaun Spears. With A.J. Haulcy's absence, number 10, number 4, number 0, and Cooley, and if P.J. Woodland is on that other boundary, guys, it doesn't matter. Whoever is in there on these receivers, you must tackle this really good wide receiver core in space. They're going to test you early in your secondary. They're going to test you all night in your secondary. And they're going to make you tackle in space because they don't think you can do it. They don't. They're not going to deviate too much on how they do things based off of what Garrett Riley wants to do. By the way, you faced an offense just like this a season ago. Blake, what? Guys, Garrett Riley is the brother of Lincoln Riley, and they do the same stuff. They do the same exact stuff. What did they do against you? And before you say that USC did not have good wide receivers, yeah, they did. It's the biggest strength of their team. Yeah, they did. With Lemon and the boys. They have a really good wide receiver room. Tackling and covering in space is going to be a massive deal. How many times in last year's game did you see Lincoln Riley dip a little screen pass off to Zachariah Branch? It happened 3 times. How many times did you see them leak the tight end out and your linebacker room, quite simply, had no idea it was coming? Because how many drag routes did they hit against you? By the way, it was a lot. It's the Coca-Cola version of what you're seeing, though, because I think Cade Klubnik's better than Miller Moss. I think their wide receiver room's better, and I think their offensive line's better. You've got to be freaking really good at tackling these good wide receivers in space. They have been very good against really good corners. Guys, getting separation, guys, they did that against the number 1 corner that came off the board. The number 1 corner that came off the board. So now what? I just took a glance at this Missouri Central Arkansas game, and somebody's down. Sam Horn, their backup quarterback. Oh, man. That stinks. Anyway. All right. Tackling in space. Your safeties in the run game. Guys, I think that they're going to really try to establish the run early on you in some capacity. Dabo has brought up Adam Randall, the converted wide receiver, at 230 pounds. They have brought him up a lot. He has had issues in the past of fumbling the football and injuries. My question for the safety room is, can you come down and make tackles? The safeties in this game are predecessorial at stopping Adam Randall, but mainly in stopping Cade Klubnik. Guys, we saw Klubnik against South Carolina. We saw him against Texas. We saw him against some really good defenses a season ago. Utilize his legs, hit the sideline, and go for 6. Last year, you were abysmal at stopping the quarterback run. And whether it be Adam Randall, whether it be Cade Klubnik, guys, look, does your front 7 need to be big? Yes. But you got to be able to limit what Cade Klubnik does with his legs. You got to be able to limit what Adam Randall does with his legs. Harold Perkins, Deshaun Spears in the first half, and Tamarcus Cooley, the game can hinge on what you do. It can hinge on what you do. Now, this front 7's got to be big too. But I thought the worst thing that you did a season ago defensively was that your interior defensive line got absolutely abused against ranked opponents, and your safeties ran away from contact. They did not know what they were doing. I do not think that you're going to be worse at safety. I don't. I legitimately don't think that you can. I just don't. But, guys, this is Deshaun Spears' first start, really. His first real start. Like, hey, man, you're the dude now. He played in some games. I think he technically started against South Carolina but didn't start the rest of the season. Spears has got to go. He's got to go. I do not want to see Jordan Gilbert out there. With all due respect to him, I don't want to see him out there. 10 has got to go. What are you made of, kid? What are you made of? Can you stop Cade Klubnik? Can you be in a situation where you can save this defense when they do something exotic? But, guys, I know I talk about the safeties in the run game, but the God's honest truth here is, too, what is your front 7? What is your front 7? Because I don't know if Clemson is the team to run the ball all over you. I don't know if that's them. What I do know is that there were moments and times last year that quite simply you got pushed around. You did. Your interior defensive line, your edge room, your linebacker room, guys, quite frankly, you weren't athletic enough. You didn't have the Jimmies and Joes. Your head coach confirmed it, that you didn't have the Jimmies and Joes. Now you feel like you do. There is no more excuse. You feel like you went out in the portal. You feel like there were some guys that you developed from within and that you got better. Sounds great. Go do it. But the safeties and that front 7, guys, you got to make them one-dimensional. You got to make them one-dimensional. Take something away from them. Make sure Cade Klubnik can't use his legs. Contain him inside the pocket. Don't let another quarterback run all over you. Don't let him run all over you. You got to get after him. Guys, are you more athletic? Are you better up front? Can those safeties come down and make tackles? Can Deshaun Spears come up and make a couple of tackles that you need him to make? If he does, you're going to win. If you contain them, I'm not going to come in here and assume that you can stop them, because I don't know if you can stop them. I think you can contain them. But it's going to be a massive deal. Last but not least, pressuring Cade Klubnik. I thought Lawton Swan said it best last night, who covers Clemson for Clemson Sports. He did say it best. When Cade Klubnik is put under pressure, guys, he's had a problem with fumbling. This is where Harold Perkins comes in. I think that you can get some rush with your front 7 or your defensive line. I do. Cade Klubnik can move. And you got to utilize number 7. I keep hearing people saying, take him off the field and they're going to spread us out. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I think number 7 can be a big deal in getting to Cade Klubnik. I think pressuring him I think you're gonna man up with some of these receivers, and you're gonna give up some big plays. You better get it through your mind right now. You're gonna give up big plays. I would rather try to get to him in some situations and get him down on the ground than backing off and being soft. Louisville, Georgia, Texas, South Carolina. What do all of them have in common? Well, they beat Clemson a year ago, but they sent ungodly amount of pressure after Cade Klubnik. They hit him all night. And by the way, in the first half, it didn't seem like Klubnik wanted any part of that. He got skittish a little. Credit to him. He came back firing, and he made some big plays. But I think Harold Perkins is a massive key for here for you defensively. You were really good last year statistically in team sacks. But when Braden Swinson wasn't going off, you weren't. I think you have 3-4 guys that you think on the edge that can get to the quarterback consistently. I think that Don McKinley, Bernard Gooden has got to wreak havoc in the interior. I know that this Clemson offensive line has got a lot of guys returning. And a lot of people around the country believe that they are going to be a very good unit. I am not there. I have seen that offensive line get dominated by lesser athletic teams than what you bring in there in that same offensive line. Doesn't mean that they can't get better, but it also doesn't mean that, look, man, that you just can't get to them and maybe they're not the best. I think Walker Parks being injured and not 100%, I am putting Bernard Gooden on him and saying, utilize your speed, get off the ball. If he's not 100%, let's take it to him and find out. But you have got to find a way to get to number 2. Guys, I didn't bring up the DBs here at corner. It can easily be a massive deal. We can come in here on Saturday night and say, hey, listen, that corner room on the boundary just could not hold up. And maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. But I'm expecting for a really good wide receiver core to make plays. But if you can get to Cade Klubnik enough and get them behind the chains, I think you'll be able to win this one. All in all, in these keys to victory, I would just say this. You have been a team in the last 3 years in big moments that you've gotten pushed around. Up front on both lines of scrimmage. It's your time to go out there and prove that that's not going to happen again. And if you can prove that it's not, guys, I think you come out of here winning 34-31. A big part of that is me thinking that you're going to be able to run the football. And I don't know if you can. Guys, my biggest worry is that you cannot go in there and run the football at all. It's my biggest worry. And it's why I'm very nervous going into this game, if we're just going to all put our cards on the table. But regardless of what I think, what anybody thinks, it comes down to what you do up front, the offensive line and defensive line. All right. Let's see here. Any more super chats? Showtime Jones says, hey, Alexa, play Set It Off with a $2 super chat. I agree. I 1,000% agree. I posted the miracle speech from who did that again? Who was that again? Kurt Russell. Wasn't it Kurt Russell that played the coach? Isn't that his name? It is your time. It is your time. Go take it to him, man. Go take it to him. We'll see. Dr. John Sibley Butler, who's a member of the YouTube channel, says, on the road, the Tigers need to get off to a fast start. It will be tough, but we will be better. Wide receivers will turn the game into a track meet. I hope they do. I hope they do. Dirty Money says Clemson 24-17. That would mean LSU does not get the run game going. Jay Roberts says my entire household is about to have Haulcy jerseys. Bring it. I still hate it for the kid. I still hate it. It's awful, man. It's absolutely awful. I wish the kid well. I hope he dominates in the second half. And guys, I hope you win the football game. All right. We'll see y'all on Saturday. Y'all have a great night. Peace.